Welcome back into another episode of the Daft on Draft podcast. We are now in week 4 of college football. So we're gonna, before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, we're gonna talk about what happened in week 3. Lots of good games going down in week 3. Lots of big head-to-heads in week 3 as well. So getting into some conference play games as well. So we're gonna talk about all that before we completely turn the page over to week 4. But James, how are we doing?
Doing awesome, man. It's 8:25. I've been watching tape all day except for meals.
Yeah, I can't wait for the day that this becomes full time for me, where I don't have to go to work in the morning, in the afternoons. So, but yeah, man, lots to get to. This felt like the first week too. It's like, man, I don't know if I have time to get through all these games because there were a lot of P4 on P4 this week. But let's go through and just graze through, the slate real fast before we get into helmet stickers here. There are some things to talk about, especially like some injuries. Like we got to talk about Sellers a little bit. We got to talk about some of these other mismatches here. And the place to start with those mismatches then is going to be Indiana State, a Friday night game where Indiana won 73-0. But Fernando Mendoza goes 19 of 22, 70 and 5 touchdowns, plus 1 rushing touchdown just in the first half. Didn't even play the second half of this game.
Yeah, I had to. This is the first week that I actually had too many potential helmet stickers and had to leave some on the cutting room floor. And Indiana got the level of competition knock. So couldn't give the helmet sticker to Mendoza or Cooper, although they definitely deserved it. I thought Cooper, just ignoring competition, had probably the best performance of the week. 10 for 10, 207 yards, 4 touchdowns. How many 134 yards after the catch, so shifty, making people miss on those hitch routes. So yeah, wanted to highlight the Indiana guys. Thought they had a nice bounce back game after they couldn't connect on that one deep ball a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the past 2 games they've been. Cooper took like a jet sweep to the house, like a touch pass to the house 2 weeks ago, and then last week, heck of a game there. What I like, again, there are takeaways for these games, even though the level, like I'm not charting this level of competition for my quarterback charting or anything, but there are takeaways to still see from the quarterback position, and you want to see their process. And I thought we got, that Old Dominion game. I don't know if he came out just like wanting to prove that he was the best quarterback in the nation and was like pressing a little bit, but he's kind of settled back in after that Old Dominion slow start there. And from a process standpoint, I think it's really him and Nussmeier, the only 2 quarterbacks that I've seen that are willing to just like throw darts over the middle of the field, like have the arm arrogance to really just like let it go. And that's what I've really loved to see from Mendoza in this game particularly.
Those are fighting words against Josh Hoover.
Okay, Josh Hoover too. That's fair. That's fair. I need to see some more Hoover first. Like I'm not there based off of one game of 2020.
Yeah.
5 and then his 2024 tape I just wasn't a huge fan of, but like Mendoza was drilling some windows over the middle of the field. And again, they're all RPO glances. I get it. Like, cool, whatever. But like, he's still drilling those windows and he's on time. And I see the process. So that's kind of what I take away from this game. Now we turn the page where they're playing the number 9 overall team in the country in Illinois this weekend. So this will be the Mendoza statement game. If he goes out and he plays well, then he's going to be getting 1.1 talk because some of us came into the season with 1.1 talk already. So.
Yeah. I am going to miss all of the cupcakes on Indiana's schedule. Love winning these games 77-0, but unfortunately it's time to join the real world and play some real teams.
For sure. I also have to mention that I might have a curse because I brought up Lee Beebe Jr. on the podcast last week, and then he suffers a season-ending injury in this game, and now we don't get to see Lee Beebe Jr. for the rest of the season for Indiana either. So.
Looks so good, too.
I know. All right, moving on here. Houston, Colorado. Anything from Houston, Colorado? I think it's really ironic. I'm just going to throw this out there. Like, I was a pretty big Connor Wigman guy coming into last season. Connor Wigman, obviously, I'm completely off that train until he proves that he can stay healthy for a season. But like Houston has turned him into like a Haynes King power spread quarterback, which is just a very funny dichotomy when you're talking about a quarterback who can't stay healthy. But it's working for him right now. So yeah, they beat Colorado. They're 3-0 on the season. Houston might have something here, especially in a Big 12 conference where, woof, so far.
Yeah, Tanner Koziel made a couple plays. That's really my one guy on Houston, honestly. They have
at this point, yeah.
Dean Connors, the running back, is a
Iowa State transfer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, Rice.
Sorry. Got my white running backs confused.
The one thing that I do find really interesting about Colorado this year is I'm just not there with DJ McKinney like at all.
Really? Okay.
Where people have him. I mean, to me, he's a guy I'd have to look, but he's probably in like the 70s or 80s for me. But I see him consistently in the teens to 20s, and I just don't really see the physical traits for him. Haven't watched his. I watched all of his tape last year, but haven't watched any of his games this year. So we'll see. But he's the one Colorado prospect I have a strong take on.
Interesting. Yeah, I like DJ McKinney coming into the season. I like the length, and I thought he moved well with that length, which is a pretty good combo when you're looking at NFL corners. I had some scouts telling me that like Omarion Hampton looks the part of a first-round pick, but like they aren't getting him targets. Like they just aren't getting him targets. So if he is, then like we can't see it yet. Or not Omarion Miller. I'm sorry, not Omarion Miller. They're just
There's
not getting him targets.
Omars and Omarions that play receiver in college. I know. Like putting together my spreadsheet for the draft, I like duplicate added so many people and thought I had somebody in. It's like, oh, there's an 8th Omar. Okay.
Yeah. But that's my really big takeaway. Their quarterback situation's a mess. Arizona, Kansas State. Have you watched Malachi Bailey for Arizona? Alcorn State transfer defensive end?
No, but
DPR-ish.
Yeah. So when you texted me about him a few weeks ago, I like watched his pressures from that week, but that's all I've seen of him.
Okay. He saw it off and he's explosive, but he kind of has like a little bit of like David Walker-ish kind of like. And my thing was he graded out really well in the first week, and I haven't watched this K-State game. I'm going to go back and watch it because that is P4 versus P4, but a lot of his pressures came as a looper. So that kind of gave me a little bit of pause. Like, can he clean win outside without games up front? But I mean, he's really explosive, man. He comes off the ball hot. Does Chris Kleiman survive this season at K-State?
I don't know, man. It's pretty rough.
His one win is a last-second win over an FCS team, man.
Yeah. I mean, Avery Johnson looks nothing like what he looked like last year. And I didn't study Kansas State's offense extensively, but I always thought he was like a kind of in that Brendan Sorsby, like, Morton kind of tier, just from what I had seen. He doesn't look like a guy I would touch with a 10-foot pole right now.
No, like he looks like a wide receiver convert right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're looking at. And scouts liked him coming into the season. Like some scouts were like, you need to keep an eye on this kid, but not anymore. I think we're good there. All right, UCLA. Somebody lost a job over that game. I don't know if we'll talk about that one a little bit later. Florida, LSU, man. LSU tried their best to lose that football game, and Florida just like wouldn't let them lose the football game. It was one of the ugliest games that I think I've seen in quite a while.
Are all of the good quarterback prospects just bad now? I thought DJ
guess so. I did too. I liked his tape last year. Again, he didn't practice all summer, so that might have done something there. But like, if I were him, I'd get the heck out of Gainesville, especially if Napier hangs around another year. I'd get the heck out of there. But Caleb Banks, man, also broke his foot. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, Caleb Banks broke his foot. It's out for the season. So that sucks. That
brutal.
Sucks big time for Florida.
Is this his last year of eligibility?
Oh, he's 24. He's old. Yeah. Yeah.
And like doesn't really have production. I mean, he'll get like the traits are his production basically, but I like really needed to see kind of a complete season from him, because last year's tape to me was kind of just the LSU game and like I think Ole Miss. And then a lot of like empty calories, but man, that's unfortunate.
I love those LSU weapons. They're all kind of like undersized, but like I'm even like really shocked and impressed by like the refinement that I've seen from Barryon Brown, who are like, oh, that guy runs a 4.2, he's going to be a weapon. But like, I think Barryon Brown's running some pretty clean routes for having that 4.2 speed. I've been really impressed. Aaron Anderson is going to be the wide receiver that everybody falls in love with at the Senior Bowl, because nobody's going to be able to cover him one-on-one. In those drills. And then I like Xavier Thomas, man. I've said it a couple times now, but I really like Xavier Thomas. I hope my podcast curse doesn't affect Xavier Thomas next, but I think he's showing some refinement as a route runner when he's more of like a gadget return man as well. So Xavier Thomas is another guy I really like.
Yeah, I need to watch his tape. But
The
yeah,
targets are limited, but they've got so many mouths to feed in that freaking room. Chris
they
Hilton
have
can't get a
they
freaking
have
target.
so many good receivers, and they get like 3 opportunities a game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of annoying. But yeah, it's I honestly really like this LSU team as a whole. Like, man, I haven't watched a better player other than Ruben Bain. I haven't watched a better player like week after week against good competition than Mansour Delane.
No,
And
he's playing very well.
With Jermon McCoy not being able to add to his resume, like, I don't really see an argument for someone else at cornerback 1. And it would have to be purely traits based. And like, Mansour Delane is still a good athlete, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I thought Braylon Moore was okay in this game at center. Again, he sprained his ankle last week, so he's probably limping around a little bit. Apparently, Nussmeier's got an oblique injury, and he's kind of gimping around a little bit too. But like, the LSU offense is tough to watch sometimes, despite all of the weapons they've got on the field. Oregon Northwestern.
Weeks injured too.
What? Oh yeah, Weeks. Well, Weeks got called for targeting in the first.
Oh yeah, no, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Oregon Northwestern here. Dante Moore stacked another game.
Yep.
We're getting closer to having a real conversation about Dante Moore if Dante Moore had played some real competition at this point. Like, I still just like get sped up. Let me see it. But like, from a process standpoint, man, I'm like, again, my hand is on the button with Dante Moore.
Everything is so crisp.
It is so clean, on time. His pocket fluidity like looks awesome. He reminds me a little bit of like CJ Stroud. Like, I think even the functional athleticism kind of lines up there. I don't think he's a world beating athlete by any sense of the words. But like the functional athleticism is pretty Stroudish. I think his upper body's quicker through his hips than Stroud. Stroud kind of has like a weird elbow when he throws, but like the process wise, he reminds me a little bit of Stroud. But again, Stroud did it against top tier competition at Ohio State time and time again. So let's get to that Penn State game. Let's get through that Penn State game and see how we feel on the other side of that game. But boy, Dante Moore.
That backside dig he hit on 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
Was beautiful.
Did you see DK Moore dropped it, but it was a back shoulder throw opposite hash along like the left sideline in the first half of the game.
Okay, so I saw your tweet about how like his best throw wasn't visible, and then I was looking for it and I didn't see it. Maybe I just like completely missed it.
I'll have to clip it and send it to you. But it was like a very beautiful back shoulder throw on a line. Yeah, but again, that Northwestern all 22 angles, unbearable. So
their stadium that they're in though is a vibe, I have to say. Like,
well, they're building a new one next year.
When the camera's facing the ocean or like the bay, it's so peaceful.
Yeah, building a new one next year. It's supposed to be beautiful. So, what did you think about Antosaka in this one?
I thought he had a solid game. Like, really was impressed. I mean, when I saw the stat line, I was like, oh, so kind of quiet. 4 pressures, 0 sacks, but felt like he won more than 4 times. He was like really applying pressure on the pocket, regardless of whether it got recorded as a pressure. And yeah, I mean, looked like he matched up with Alex Harkey and Isaiah World. So
I thought they really picked on Alex Harkey in this game. Like Alex Harkey, yeah, I'll stop there. But like, yeah, the one-on-ones on World, it felt like kind of a heavyweight fight with the one-on-ones with World. Is Mark Fletcher your kind of running back?
No,
I kind of did. I know he doesn't have any long speed, but dude, I kind of love these like dudes who will get you like 4 yards and put the pads down and maybe fall forward for another 3.
Who does he remind you of? Because like, there's no
Ramondre Stevenson. A little bit. I guess Ramondre had a little bit more juice.
So he has like the power and the contact balance, but then he's also so shifty when he's got to navigate like traffic, tight quarters and stuff. So that was really impressive. I only watched like the 3 games. I watched his 3 games today. I did all of Miami offense, and I thought his pass pro was really solid. So yeah, I mean,
dude,
I gave him an early 7.
Yeah, that feels fair for probably how he's going to test. All right, Tennessee, Georgia. We'll talk about this one a little later because I've got a helmet sticker in this game as well. But you got to be heartbroken if you're a Tennessee fan. Like that's clearly a game that Georgia had no business winning. Yeah, Georgia had no business winning that game. But We'll get back to that one a little bit. Arch looks bad. I think that's our biggest takeaway from Texas right now. Like, can't really evaluate anybody around him because he can't get the ball to anybody right now, which is it's pretty rough. Texas A&M Notre Dame. I'm excited for Mario Craver next year. I know he's like 5'8" and 170 pounds, man, but like,
Is that number one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he went off.
The dude just strides in the open field. The longest strides for a 5'8" dude, 5'9" dude that I've ever seen. Like, he just glides.
I considered giving Casey Concepcion a helmet sticker for today. I thought like he had a good game. I don't think it was like insanely productive. Let me see what he had. 4 catches for 82 yards on 10 targets. He is catching passes from my new least favorite deep ball in the SEC, which is Marcel Reed.
Brutal.
I mean, yeah. And he went to NBA 10 minutes away from my house. But they didn't teach him to throw a deep ball there because he was overshooting Casey Concepcion like constantly. It felt like 3 or 4 potential touchdowns or explosive plays taken off the table, some other inaccurate passes. But man, he's got the lateral juice. Had a dominant freshman season, and then sophomore year was a big disappointment. But he seems back to 2023 form. And I think definitely top 50 to 60 pick potential.
Love it. I love it. I want to touch on Vanderbilt, South Carolina, just briefly, because Lenore Sellers left this game with a concussion. But I charted just the 7 throws. It was a P4 versus P4, so I wanted the 7 throws in my data. It was the quickest and most effective I've seen him get the ball out. Like, I actually like watched that game. I was like, oh my gosh, he's finding backside posts. He's getting the ball out on time, and he knows where he's going with the football. He threw a really bad pick on a defensive tackle that dropped into coverage, like dropped right into a hook curl that he didn't pick up, and threw a Texas route right into his lap. But I thought the process looked the cleanest that I'd ever seen it with Sellers as a passer. So I'm hoping he's not sidelined too long in this game or this season, because that's really my biggest takeaway here from that game.
Do you know do you have any idea what the severity of the injury is?
It's a concussion, so
okay.
Yeah, hard to tell. Clemson, Georgia Tech, man. The Cade Klubnik we're off, like the bus has stopped. It's over. If I like legitimately, the conversation right now is he's played 3 games this season. Do you redshirt and just transfer? Like, I think that why shouldn't that be a legitimate conversation for him right now?
It's tough because last year it's not an offense that put a lot on his plate. And I think it's definitely more advanced than like an Ole Miss or Tennessee of the past. But Clemson's offense didn't really attack the middle of the field very often. It was a lot of one read type of concepts. And so this year the hope was that maybe they put more on his plate. He shows that he can translate a little bit more cleanly to the NFL, and he went in the opposite direction. Like, he can't even really execute simple stuff that was easy for him last year. He looks like a completely different player, and was already like not on the strongest foundation as a prospect heading into the year because the traits aren't that special.
No, and scouts had day 3 grades on him coming into the season. Just brutal. All right, man. I think that's really all that we need to talk about from the slate. There's like Wisconsin, Alabama, but I think that's pretty much into it as far as we need to go here. Let's dive into some helmet stickers now. So I'll let you go first with your first helmet sticker here.
All right. My first helmet sticker will be somebody who is in the news and on the timeline a lot in week 1 for bad reasons, but had a great bounce back performance. That is Alabama safety Bray Hubbard. So if you are on Twitter for the Alabama-Florida State game, you probably saw clips of him kind of like loafing around the field, missed some tackles, pancake. Like, after I saw that game, that was the first Bray Hubbard game I watched. I was not interested in like investigating further, but had a monster performance against Wisconsin, 2 picks, 3 stop tackles. showed that physicality that when I go back, like was on the rest of his tape, like he's, watching him, he's kind of a box, like head on fire type of guy. So I think that week 1 performance was out of character, but yeah, just a really solid bounce back performance. And he's even for me now. So blank slate, I guess.
I love it. I love it. Where did you come into the season, Matt, with him at?
Didn't watch him over the summer.
Okay. My first one, I'm going to go to the Tennessee Georgia game. During the 2020, that would have been the 2023 season, I was doing some consulting, and then obviously just charting Michael Pratt as well. I got to know Chris Brazzell quite a bit. He was a redshirt freshman at the time at Tulane, and this dude is just like, again, 6'5", 185-ish, and he's cutting on a dime, and he's making plays vertically down the field as a redshirt freshman at Tulane, and I was like, this guy's on my radar. And then that offseason, I went to the combine, and I was talking with a scout, and he's like, that guy's a freaking first rounder. Like, that guy's a future first rounder. And then the production didn't happen after he transferred to Tennessee last year. And you could probably look west and see what's happening at UCLA and make a pretty educated guess as to why the production might have dropped off last season for him in his first year at Tennessee. But throughout the first 3 games of this season now, with Joey Aguilar throwing him passes, he has 360-some yards, 5 touchdowns on 20 catches already in 3 games, including 6 for 177 and 3 touchdowns against Georgia. He mossed a dude for a touchdown. He had another one where he won at the catch point. Georgia played a lot of off man, so there wasn't like, you could say, well, he's not getting separation, but like they're playing a lot of off man, not a lot of opportunities to beat a man off press and really vertically separate. But it's like his second catch of the game, I think, though. He runs a deep out, and I think he stems really well, and he gets out of that break real well on a deep out there. So I see a lot of the same movement skills that I saw with him while he was at Tulane. Kind of fell off the radar last year, but we're back on the Brazzell bus. So we are back on the Brazzell bus, which is something I said that in our preview game or episode on Friday last year. Like, if Brazzell breaks out this game, like, I'm back on. We're back in. So we're back in on Chris Brazzell, baby.
I had the same experience mentally with you, with Chris Brazzell. Like, really excited for him when he transferred to Tennessee because his Tulane tape was awesome, but Nico is not the ideal quarterback to distribute a receiver the ball that you want to get a bunch of stats. But he also had a pretty bad drop issues. I think like 17% drop rate last year. And he's really improved that in 2024. There are a lot of similarities to his performance with the Jalen Hyatt Bama game, 5 touchdowns, but this was so much more real. Like, all the DeMarco Helms coverage busts and like kind of gimmicky stuff that led to Jalen Hyatt's production. Like, Chris Brazzell is just cooking man coverage, snapping routes off cleanly, vertical separation, winning at the catch point. Totally agree. I mean, first round traits. I don't think he's 6'5" though, but
he's probably like 6'4". Yeah. Even if he's 6'3" moving like that, that's still impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take this. Oh, you go. That's fine. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, no, you go snake.
I was going to say snake it, but whatever. Okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll stagger. I'll go offense, defense, offense. So I'm going to go with Oregon linebacker Bryce Becker here. Everybody knows him as the baseball player who also plays football for Oregon. I like Bryce Becker. I don't think he's the biggest dude in the world. I don't really think he's the fastest dude in the world, but I think he plays fast. And I like his trigger when he's coming downhill. I think, like, getting deeper into the third quarter, into the fourth quarter of that game, he got a little caught up eye candy wise, but I think, like, at that point they were just like trying to fly to the football, like they were up big, and maybe their discipline went out the window a little bit there at the second level. But early in that game, I thought his trigger was really dynamic. He had that tipped interception, kind of fluky, but like literally a play or two before that, he almost baited Preston Stone and almost picked off a pass and went right off his hands. So it's like he almost got rewarded by proxy on that tip drill. He almost had another tip drill interception later in that game too. Preston Stone just loves giving the football to the other team right now. So happened a lot. But I'm going to give my second helmet sticker to Bryce Becker, the Oregon linebacker.
Yeah, I'm excited to follow him this year. He popped watching the rest of Oregon's defense last year, but I didn't really study him super in depth. My next helmet sticker, who do I want to pick? Let's go with Keyshawn James Newby. edge rusher out of New Mexico. So he's been on my radar since about this time last year. I was writing an article for the 33rd team on top FCS prospects in the 2025 class, I guess. And I was just kind of like going through a list and like watching a bunch of random people. I watched Keyshawn James Newby. I'm like, dude, this guy might have the best cross chop in the FBS. Like, I know he's beating, FCS tackles, but I mean, it was every single snap. It was kind of like David Walker levels almost. Transfers to New Mexico. I feel like he's good enough to have transferred to a bigger program, but oh well. Had 12 pressures against UCLA and a 46% pass rush win rate. It was one of those games where basically wins every single rep, and it's 30 pass rushing snaps, so it's a decent sample size. And like whenever he doesn't record a pressure, it's just because the quarterback got rid of the ball too quickly. He's a little bit undersized, but super bendy. And based on last year's tape, I would have described him as kind of a Mateo Uyunglele type, where he's just like a cross chop spammer, Donovan Izaraku, like super finesse player. In the FCS, you didn't really see any speed to power. Watch him this year, and he's got a pretty mean bull rush. The competition that they faced is not good. Like UCLA is barely Power 4 offensive line play. So, I don't even know if he's going to have any real competition on his schedule. The best, I guess Boise State's probably the best offensive line he's going to face. But
Casey, yeah.
12 pressures last week, played Michigan in week 1. Only had 3 pressures, but I thought he had a solid game defending the run. So I'm looking at him as a potential like early day 3, maybe late day 2. He's a really good athlete, but doesn't really have the measurables, the ideal measurables that you look for.
Yeah, he is verified at 6'1 and a half, 239 pounds. 32 and 3/8 inch arms. 32 and 3/8 inch arms at that body type, though, is pretty good. Like I can live with those arms at that body type. Yeah, scouts coming into the year didn't have high grades on him, but I mean, I'm interested. I'm very interested. He was that game was literally the game I was about to watch next before we hopped on. It's like I don't have time for that one. So, it's gonna be the first one to pop on after this because obviously charting comes first, and that's kind of how I flow out from there. But, yeah, I love it. All right, James, who's your third helmet sticker here?
All right, my third helmet sticker. I think this is a guy that I haven't heard anybody talk about. Not saying I discovered him, but Hezekiah Masses, cornerback out of Cal, played 3 years at Florida International, transferred to Cal for this year. He currently leads college football, regardless of position, in interceptions, pass breakups, and forced incompletions. Out of college football corners, he played the 8th highest percentage of his snaps in press coverage this year. It's just, if you watched Noel Williams, it's island press man, physical press coverage. We don't have verified measurables, but 6'1", 185 is what he's listed at. I think arm length looks solid. Dude, he is so fluid. His ability to mirror releases, mirror route breaks. I mean, he's connected to them like Velcro. Ball skills are outstanding, both in terms of like if he needs to lay a hit, if he needs to crash downhill and break up a hitch route on 3rd and 5, he can do that. Or if he has to be super precise and, really let that hand-eye coordination take over and rake the ball out, he can do that as well. I mean, the production speaks for itself. I think good physicality as a tackler and in the run game. It's weird. He had 3 double tackles on his tape. I watched all 3 of his games. There were 3 plays where he missed a tackle and then like pounced back up and finished the tackle. Anyways, yeah, I think Hezekiah Masses, to me, he's a fringe top 100 player right now.
Wow.
I want to see him continue that production, but I mean, Minnesota and Oregon State are not the two, like there are plenty of players that have faced, way worse slates than that.
Yeah, for sure. That Cal defense has some fun players. I was watching that game right before we got on against Minnesota, and I really like Ryan McCulloch, the
Yeah.
defensive end there, number 43, and I thought he just had an okay game in this one. But they had another edge, a Liberty transfer, who was just like wreaking havoc on Minnesota. TJ Bush. I don't know if you watched TJ Bush at all, but he was wreaking havoc in that game as well. He's the white edge rusher, like number 0 or something like that,
Oh.
um, with the really short pants, like the Quinshon Judkins pants.
Oh yeah.
But they've got some interesting players, and Terrence Brown as their defensive backs coach has been for the past 4 years, and they got something in the water with all those DBs coming out of Cal the past few years, man. All right, my last helmet sticker. I'm gonna go to offensive guard. Um, I debated between SEC offensive guards here. I'm gonna go. With Najee Harris from Florida. Left guard started for Florida. I debated between him and Fernando Carmona, who is the left guard for Arkansas. I watched that game though. Arkansas's offensive line's kind of nasty. They all play with kind of a mean streak, all of them. So at least the interior. So that was a pretty fun watch against Ole Miss. But I'm going to go with Najee Harris here. Najee Harris again, left guard at Florida. IMG kid, IMG recruit coming out of high school. So he's a well-known recruit, but again, he's got the ideal movement skills and body type that I like in a guard. I want my guard to be really freaking squatty with really good knee bend, just play with absolute awesome leverage and have just a very dense lower half. And Najee Harris checks all of those boxes. I think his foot speed and his redirect is really good as well. And I thought his hand placement and grip strength when he's anchoring and when he gets into dudes is really awesome as well. So he knows how to use his arms as levers. I think his leverage is awesome because the pad level is good, the knee bend is good. So the anchor is really good with Najee Harris. So I'm gonna give Najee Harris my third helmet sticker here. In this game, I'm gonna look it up real fast. I probably should have looked it up before we got on here about his pressures and whatnot. He had
I don't think he had a good run blocking grade. I think he had like 2
he
penalties.
didn't, but I thought he was fine. No pressures, no or one pressure allowed on 59 pass blocking reps.
And
23 true pass blocking opportunities.
we were
One pressure
talking
allowed.
about Najee Harris before we started recording because I was trying to finish his game before we started, but I'm like 27 plays in. I think I just saw the pressure that he gave up, and it's one of those plays where it's like a kind of even more impressive recovery. It's like I would still view
His
that.
redirect is really good.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when people are really trying to press the edge on him, and then like you said, dude, the anchor. I mean, I saw that a couple plays in, just some high level anchor reps in that LSU tape.
Yeah. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. But that's all we have for this episode of our week 3 recap and helmet stickers here. Again, we will have 3 more episodes out this week. We're getting into conference play. So week 4, it's cranking up, man. It's cranking up. This is the part of the year where I have to try to budget my sleep as appropriately as I can so I don't die. But we are there. We are there. All right, James, any other thoughts for the people before we get out of here?
Shout out to Keith Abney, man. 2 pass breakups and a forced fumble. Shout out to my guy Xavier Scott. 2 pass breakups and a TFL. Those guys were honorable mentions as well. Also, Colin Wright out of Stanford. Have you watched him?
Yeah, the corner. Yeah.
Yeah. He had a really nice game.
That's one of those where I woke up on Sunday morning and I was like, wait, what? Boston College did what? By losing that game to Stanford?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not watching this game because Boston College is going to win by like 30. And then they lost.
Damn, I didn't even realize they lost, and I watched that whole game. You got any other honorable mentions?
Yeah, I shouted out Fernando Carmona. I thought he played really well in this game as well. Let me run back through the slate real fast here.
Malachi Fields for Notre Dame.
He had some really nice blocking reps.
He was cooking Will Lee like all game.
Love it. Love it. Carnell Tate continues to look like the real deal. Again, Ohio State has played one good competition, good team of competition. So Carnell Tate, though, looks like he's taken a very, very big step forward. Mentioned Mark Fletcher. Again, he's not the type of running back that I love at all, but there's something about him. I'm just like, I would like this guy on my football team. Yeah, that's Oh, go for it.
CJ Daniels.
Oh, Miami receiver. Yeah. Yeah. By way of Liberty and LSU.
I was not really familiar with his game until this year, but I'm impressed. I gave him a conservative, like all these new players, I give like really conservative grades to start out once I pass the 3-game threshold.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if he keeps, I mean, he has like every week he has one of the most insane catches that I've ever seen.
Yep. Yep. Keelan Rutledge at Georgia Tech. I thought he had a pretty good game. Again, I'm pretty low on his tools overall, but I mean he's a grinder. He's a Georgia Tech power guard for sure. So Keelan Rutledge, I enjoyed his performance in that game too. Ty Simpson, dude. Oh, Joshua Joseph at Tennessee. He's cooking.
He keeps having like, it's always really low sample size. It'll be like 2 pressures and a strip sack, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like that. It seems like that's what every game is for Joshua Joseph.
Yep. Ty Simpson, man. Let's get a little bit in SEC play here, but he's another, like, not to the level of Dante Moore has done, but he's very crisp. He's very clean from structure. His feet are nice. He's got a good arm, making really good decisions with the football. Finished this game 24-29 with 382 and 4 against Wisconsin. So it was a P4 versus P4, but let's get into SEC play and kind of see what happens there. Texas Tech receiver Coy Eakin. He's a white redhead. So like, doesn't look like he should be playing football, but he's like 6'2", I think, as well. Yeah, 6'2", 210. He had 6 for 139 and a touchdown in this one. Yeah, so Coy Eakin's gonna get a shout out for me too. Then I guess by proxy, Baron Morton.
Yeah, Morton and Sorsby had really good games.
They did
on Saturday.
I'm in on Morton, man. We got Texas Tech Utah this week. That'll tell me about Morton. That'll tell me about Morton more than anything. But I like Morton.
The last thing I have for you. Have you watched the North Texas quarterback?
Yeah, I have.
Is he good?
It's a fun story, but the arm isn't really there.
Yeah, I haven't watched him. I've just been suggested him like a couple times.
Yeah, he's got a big frame, but like another one of those big frame, small arm guys. They play so spread out that he's always got windows to throw into, and he's on time and accurate with the football, so it works. But he doesn't have the arm that I'd like to see for sure.
He's probably going to transfer somewhere because I mean he's balling out.
Yeah,
and he's class of 2028.
Yeah. Last one here. Jordan Tyson is literally levitating with the ball in his hands after the catch for Arizona State. He's doing some nutty things, like really hammering home his status as wide receiver 1 in this class. Again, as long as he stays healthy. But Jordan Tyson is another one that just like you have to mention it. They played Texas State, but like he made one like ridiculous grab in traffic along the boundary where he showed ridiculous body control, and then after the catch where he like legitimately levitated over a defender into the end zone was really special stuff in terms of like body control, which you love to see in a receiver. So Jordan Tyson's going to get
I have a quick sidebar off of that for you. What do you think the least contested blank 1 battles are? Like center 1, cornerback 1. Like what do you think
I mean, Tate's kind of pushing, but I mean, wide receiver, we came in without a clear, and Jordan Tyson's been done nothing. So like probably wide receiver. I would say running back, but Jeremiah Love hasn't like had explosives in 2 big games now.
I kind of like the other Notre Dame running back. Like I don't want to say I'm not trying to have a hot take, but like just watching him like that game, I'm like he's a better player. I don't know.
Wide receiver probably. I mean, we're getting to that way with tight end because Max Clare hasn't really lived up to it. And Sadiq is just every week doing something on tape that's like, yeah.
The more I think about it, there's kind of a lot because wide receiver, tight end, to me, center is like really like that's probably the first one I would say. I just like Connor
Lew and the rest. Yeah.
And everyone else. D tackle with Peter Woods. Yeah.
Yeah. Linebackers open between Allen and Styles, and probably Reese is joining that conversation. Corners wide open because Jermon McCoy hasn't played yet. Downs at safety's probably consensus wise at least isn't open. From our perspective, we'll see how it plays out. But Downs' ball production's taken an increase this year, so he keeps getting his hand on the football, that'll show a little bit more. But yeah, I would say wide receiver and center probably probably wide receiver center.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, let's do Daft on draft or Daft or draft tomorrow. Let's do Daft or draft tomorrow. We'll fill out the week and then we'll get into week 4 here. But until next time, man, this has been another solid episode of the Daft on Draft podcast.